A year ago, I was saying that RG3 should be drafted ahead of Andrew Luck, that he would be better than Andrew Luck.
I knew you'd go there.
Am I right about that?
Yeah, but I knew you would go there.
Did I say that?
I knew you would go there.
Oh,
but go ahead. Keep going.
Okay.
No.
And I told you the last 2 days I was completely conflicted about this pick.
I knew you'd do this.
Because I picked Dallas to be a playoff team, and I was wrong about that.
I knew you'd do it.
But I said it yesterday. I said I was doubting my pick because RG3, these words came out of my mouth, is going to put on a show. And let me tell you, that was such a special performance on such a huge Thanksgiving afternoon stage that RG3 has now positioned himself and his team to do two things. Number one, he is about to make a serious run at MVP because, number two, his team is about to make the playoffs. His team is about to go from 3-6 to 10-6 by winning its last 7 games, which will go next to a week from Monday night in a showdown for first place with your New York Giants at D.C. in Washington.
I'm going to go to that game.
You should go to that game.
I'm going to go to that game.
Because yesterday we saw once again that young RG3 in his rookie year is having the same kind of impact on games that Brady does, and Breeze does, and Peyton does, and even your guy, the bad man Aaron Rodgers does, and I'm including RG3's legs along with his arm in that overall impact. Yesterday, we saw tour de force. We saw that 65 yards in the air touchdown pass. We saw pinpoint accuracy to Santana Moss in the end zone on the touchdown pass. And you know what was most impressive to me? When Dallas cut it to 7, what did he do on that field goal drive? Was that not clutch after clutch after clutch throw? I saw everything from a young man who's now 16 touchdowns to only 4 interceptions, who's second in the NFL in completion percentage. I saw joining the MVP race yesterday was RG3. Thank you very much.
You're not alone in that thought, Stephen A. You agree?
No, I do not. First of all, let's go through a couple of things. And notice I did not interrupt you. Here's the deal. Number one, you will not be allowed. See, this is the difference between me and all the other analysts that you're usually up here with over the last years of your illustrious career here on ESPN. You don't get to double talk to me. You're not getting away with
double talk.
Here's how.
I first talked.
Listen. You cannot. I'm not allowing you to go like this. Even though you did say you're the biggest RG3 fan, and that is a fact. RG3, everything that you've said about him has proven to be correct thus far. You are absolutely correct. You are getting a boatload of credit for that. But in the end, what you did was you picked the Dallas Cowboys over RG3.
Had no other
Stop
choice.
it!
No
Stop
choice.
it! Zip
I had
it!
no choice.
Zip it!
I'm
You
not
had
gonna
a
zip it.
chance.
I'm gonna
You
defend
had a
myself.
choice. You cannot defend your choice. Because here's the deal, Skip Bayless. You sat there and you introduced me to RG3. You understand? You talked about him when he was at Baylor. A matter of fact, I think a legitimate argument could be made that you deserve most of the credit for RG3 ultimately being noticed for the Heisman before he actually won it, because you were talking about it before anybody else brought him up.
I will accept
all of these
that.
things are true.
Thank you.
And yet still, you sit here with a straight face and try to defend yourself because Thanksgiving Day shows up and a bunch of turkey days and all of this other stuff. And, it's about the Cowboys instead of your guy. You went against them when it counted most. Zip it. You have no credibility with it now because you sat there and you went against your own instilled conventional wisdom to side with the Cowboys? I told you, say it after me. Say it and say it clear.
An accident waiting to happen.
Thank you. And that's exactly what happened. Did I not sit here and say that Tony Romo would probably throw for over 400 yards? Did I not sit here and say that Tony Romo, obviously numbers-wise, would have a big day? And did I also regurgitate yet again, it wouldn't matter? Because when it gets thick, when times are rough, when the spotlight is on them, there's a November record, undefeated, and all this stuff, I told you it wouldn't mean anything. Because what would happen was, the bigger the moment, it's like a December game to him, and he'd fold, and the Cowboys would fold. They'd find a way, whether it was him, whether it was Des Bryant in a fumble, whether it was anybody else, whether the defense not showing up. Somehow, some way, the Dallas Cowboys would break your heart and disappoint you, and that's exactly what they did. They're done, period. Jason Garrett knows how to call offensive plays. He's a stout offensive coordinator. I take nothing away from him. My problem with him is that he is not a leader of men.
I agree.
Period. And he shouldn't be
Completely
the head coach.
agree.
Just that simple.
I agree.
Just that simple. But now I think a legitimate argument could be made as to whether or not they should keep Romo and Des Bryant, which is a subject we'll
totally
get into
agree.
another day.
I am with you.
But still in all, getting back to RG3 and the question about him MVP, you know why I'm not picking him that as yet? Because to me, the only way he can get into the conversation is if this team makes the playoffs. And let me be very, very clear, because I have a lot of friends and loved ones
be careful.
who are
Be
Washington
real careful.
Redskins fans.
This is going down on tape.
The Washington Redskins are not going to the playoffs.
Oh, boy.
It is not happening. Okay? It ain't happening. They could talk about winning 7 in a row. They're not winning 7 in a row.
Did you look at the schedule?
Let me tell you, yes, I did. Yes, I
Okay.
did. I know they got the Eagles. I know they got the Browns. I know they got the Ravens. I know they got. I know what they.
And they got the accident that happened in the last game.
And the Cowboys.
Yeah.
That's right. But look, Jerry Jones already sealed that deal. I mean, he already basically told the world the Cowboys are going to lose the season finale to the Redskins. The way he was sitting there yesterday,
Yep.
his despondent self. That's what you get. I try to tell you. But here's the point. Here's the deal. You look at it, and this is all it comes down to, Skip. He's got to win and get them into the playoffs. Otherwise, it's not going to warrant him being an MVP candidate. His talent, his skill sets, the things that he's accomplishing, sure, he deserves consideration. But for all the Redskin lovers that I know,